Thank goodness to the heavens above that the Vancouver Canucks have themselves some podcasts. Their own show, there's the Ferraro and Shannon show, there are a number of shows to go out there and get your Vancouver Canucks fix in. And they also give us stuff to talk about too on this YouTube channel, because it's always nice to hear what it is these Vancouver Canucks players think about the Vancouver Canucks. You know, yeah, we're really grasping at straws here for content, folks, but today we're talking about Jake DeBrusk, who will come in there with the forearm shiver. Vancouver Canucks forward, 28 years old, signed on till the end of 2032, making $5.5 million a year. I think 1 year ago, Canucks fans were super excited at the prospect of what DeBrusk had been in Boston and that coming over to Vancouver. He was at 40 points in 80 games the year before, 50 points in 64 games the season prior to. And he was also coming off of a near point-per-game stint in the playoffs before signing with the Vancouver Canucks. Now, to be fair to Jake DeBrusk, he came in and did exactly what it was that he was supposed to do. He set a new career high in goals with the Canucks, 28 goals in 82 games played, and also scored 48 points in total. This guy didn't come out here and have a JT Miller-like explosion of point-per-game production, but considering the rest of the Canucks around him were kind of, it wasn't really the best this previous year, I think we can give him the pass and we can say that Jake DeBrusk legitimately was a fine ad. Maybe not as elite like JT Miller was, but good enough. And if you reasonably expect most of these Canucks to bounce back in 25-26, you kind of have to wonder, where will the guys that played all right in 24-25 go alongside with them? If Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, and all these other dudes become better, where does that take DeBrusk and Quinn Hughes and their point production? Are they able to explode even further? That, I think, is the exciting part of this upcoming season. Of course, though, you have to expect some of the other Canucks to perform better in order for that to go down. But luckily for us, that's exactly what Jake DeBrusk is thinking about himself. I'm going to leave a link in the description to this article published by Adam Kierszenblat on the Hockey News 4 days ago, as Vancouver Canucks forward Jake DeBrusk discusses playing with Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, and more in his latest podcast appearance. The article has the video itself. Jake DeBrusk made a really interesting appearance on the 100% Canucks podcast with Landon Ferraro and John Shannon. During the interview, the 28-year-old DeBrusk spoke on a number of topics relating to his playing career and first year with the Vancouver Canucks. One of the team-related questions DeBrusk was asked focused on next season and what Vancouver can do to bounce back after a disappointing year. This is what DeBrusk goes out there and highlights. I think wins help. I think getting wins early helps. Take some of those questions out of the way. But I think with just everything that happened last year, I think the biggest thing for our team is figure out what our identity wants to be as a team, and then stick with that through the highs and lows of the season. Obviously, from our goaltending, from our defense through, I think we can all look at our roster, and everyone likes to look at what's on paper for certain teams, and every single year, there are teams that people talk about how they have no chance. I've been on a couple of them, which sound funny. Coming from Boston, the teams I was on where they didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. Everyone thought we were going to be worse when we lost Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci. Obviously different scenario, but no one gave us a chance. And it doesn't seem like everyone, I feel like the opinion is something we can use to our advantage inside the room, in terms of looking forward to this season and how it can be. It's kind of what we make it. I think the biggest thing is getting closer as a team. Me coming in my second year. Obviously, a lot has happened in the first year, and it's done with. Everyone starts out with zeros, and a couple of wins would help, and probably some overtime wins. I think that really killed us last year. Oh yeah, it definitely killed the Vancouver Canucks. All the extra overtime points that they lost out because they couldn't get the deal done past 60 minutes. It was quite a disaster there. And thinking about how all the stuff, all the crap that happened last year is over and done with, hopefully that means we don't see any more fighting between the Vancouver Canucks' top two centers. Pettersson and Miller just totally imploded everything from inside out. And I think until somebody releases a book one day that actually highlights what went down in that situation, Canucks fans are always going to live with that as one of the biggest mysteries in Canucks lore. Let's scroll down and read some more of Jake DeBrusk's thoughts. He was asked about playing with Quinn Hughes, who finished third in Norris voting this season. The Canucks captain recorded an assist on 16 of Jake DeBrusk's 28 goals, which included 10 on the power play. In his answer, DeBrusk explained what it's like playing with one of the top defenders in the league and how he tries to get Hughes the puck whenever possible. Ah, yes, the good old classic deferring to Hughes. I can't say I'm not guilty of doing the exact same thing when I play hockey, but still. DeBrusk goes out there and says, I feel like it's hard not to give Hughes the puck whenever possible. That's usually the right play. Give him the puck and then try to get somewhere to get open. I think that's something I learned in Boston myself, playing with Bergeron and Marchand for a year and a half, 2 years. You can't defer to those guys always or they'll get mad at you. They won't like it if you're missing a pass on a 2-on-1 if you don't make the right hockey play. Not necessarily mad, but it's one of those things where you see these young guys coming into camp and all they do is pass the puck. And I don't even blame them. Everyone does it when you first come into the league. Just because you have so much respect for the players, you also have to realize that it's your turn too sometimes, and that's how the line works better. In terms of D-man, I've never had a defenseman take over games like Hughes. You hear all these things, you see him, you play against him. Seeing him through my first full season now, there were a couple of times where I admit that he called for a puck when I was with him on the ice, and I just no-look gave or dropped it and tried to make a play, and he wasn't open. And after I was like, Quinn, you can't be talking to me like that. I'll give it to you if you're open, but you can't be saying my name on the back, and then we give it away. I look like I just made a terrible play. Tell me when you're open and I'll give it to you whenever you want. That's kind of the funny side. I think I did a drop pass on a 2-on-1 because he was a defenseman. You get to learn the guys, and there is communication there, but he is a dominant player. The way that we play is around him, and it should be. Yeah, I mean, Jake DeBrusk, I won't say he was the perfect player in the most recent season. I can't specifically recall any moments where he dropped it back on a 2-on-1, but it's so interesting to hear that that is the way Quinn Hughes commands respect out of this team. Like, anytime he asks for it, the players do the best to give him the puck because it's like, oh yeah, Quinn's open, let's go out there and give it to him. And if that backfires once in a while, then I guess Jake DeBrusk does have the right to be a little bit upset. He's like, yeah, no, why'd you ask for it? You weren't open. But ultimately, DeBrusk does have some illuminating comments as to how it was playing with Quinn Hughes this recent season. Let's go over into the Jake DeBrusk stuff with Elias Pettersson, because he does go out there and talk about PD too. Despite playing over 680 minutes together, only 10 times did either Pettersson or DeBrusk score, with the other recording an assist on the play. That's really bad. Oy, oy, oy. Oh, all that ice time and very few points shared between the two? While there has been plenty of criticism surrounding Pettersson's performance, DeBrusk is a strong believer that his teammate will have a strong campaign in 25-26. When I first came in, I tried to be his best friend, and I tried to get as close to him as I could, which I probably failed at because he probably got annoyed with me at the end of the year. I think I made a top 15 friends list, and he kept asking me to put him lower on it. I don't know if I failed at that part already, but he can't get rid of me yet, so that's good, I think. PD, I agree. I think that was one of the things that I was most excited about coming to Vancouver. In coming to the team, there was a guy like Quinn, and there was a guy like PD. You look at that, and as a forward, as a left winger, I look at the opportunity, and I don't think I necessarily did a good enough job for him last year. I think it was always going to get personalized with the stats, and what's everyone's points like, but I don't think when I was playing with him, I gave him my best game either, in fairness. I think it took some time. But I think PD is going to have a good offseason. He's going to come back and get into good shape. The skill is there. The skill, his hands, his vision. I don't think you can teach some of those things. I think you can teach some of the other things. I have a lot of faith in him. I signed a 7-year deal to play with Pettersson, so I believe in him more than probably most. So with all that in mind, Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, how Jake DeBrusk's comments seem to you. What are your thoughts on this guy's mindset heading into the year? He is optimistic on Pettersson. He is praising the heck out of Quinn Hughes. This is one of the things where I feel if he can get his chemistry going with EP40, then we could be on the cusp of seeing some pretty good things in Vancouver. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Jake DeBrusk's commentary on Petey and Hughes and Vancouver. Article's going to be linked in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.